So hello and welcome to Thermomixing with Donna, our regular Thursday night recipe inspiration class. So this class this week, we're going to talk all things breakfast. Now I have done a breakfast recording before, but this one's a little bit different. So we've got 3 recipes tonight. Well, we've actually got 4, but I'm only going to do 3 for the video. So we're doing the equivalent of Up and Go, which is a drink in Australia that you buy ready to go, and you basically, it's a up and go, as it sounds. We're also doing a breakfast bar, so a breakfast snack bar that you can again grab and go. And we're going to do a frappe because who doesn't love a frappe? I do. I don't know about you. All right, so we'll get going. So currently in my TM7, you'll see steaming away. I have 6 of the yogurt jars ready for the up and go. Now the up and go is only meant to serve 4, so I thought I'd see how I go. But I thought I'll do 6 just in case. So I'm doing the jars and the lids. So that is being done on the steaming temperature on the steaming mode. So the TM6 doesn't have this mode. This one you would need to do it manually. So if you're going to sterilize your equipment on your TM6, you would need to go into your home screen, swipe across my Tinder screen, as I call it, swipe left, swipe right. And then you would need to go to, actually, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Sorry, my bad. You would actually use your main screen. So you would use your home screen. I know you can't see this very well, but you've got your 3 dials. So you would put this on. I normally do 20 minutes on varoma temperature, which is top temperature on speed 2. And that's pretty standard for any sterilizing that I do. And I would put my varoma on the top. Or if I was just doing 1 jar, I would put the simmering basket on the top, the one with the lid off. All right, so that would sit on the top, leave the lid open, and I would have my jar upside down. Now, something you should never, ever do when you're sterilizing jars on your Thermomix, whether that be a 6 or a 7, is to put the jar upside down directly on the top. Because what that'll do is it'll seal. So with this lid, it would seal to the lid. And what would happen is pressure would build up and it would push it off and it would smash on the floor. So not only would you get burnt, you could get glass in you as well. So please do not put your jars directly on top of the lid. You use your varoma for safety, or I'll grab a simmering basket just to show you. Or you grab your simmering basket and just have your simmering basket. This is the 7, but you grab your simmering basket, just open the top of it and pop it upside down on here. And that gives you that little bit of space underneath, so it's got that ventilation. All right, so that's one tip for you tonight. Now then, while that's going ahead there, I've already preheated the oven. So we're going to get started in the 6 tonight because this recipe takes a little bit of time. I have prepped all my ingredients, so it will be a bit quicker that way. So we're going to go to the 3 little lines. That's what you do on your TM6. On your TM7, you would go to home screen, and I have it set for my week on the main home screen, so it's nice and easy. So I'm going to go on my week, and I've already scheduled this in, so I'm fingers crossed it comes up. And it's down the bottom here, breakfast bars. And I'm going to select it and I'm going to go start cooking. All right, so this says preheat the oven to 180 degrees. Already done. Step 1. Oh, I jumped. It says grease and line a rectangular baking dish. So I've got a square one. I'm just going to make them a little bit bigger. And so I'll just cut them into smaller pieces. So I've just put that with a little bit of, I don't normally put oil on these, to be honest. But because I've not made these bars before, I thought I would actually put oil in it just to be sure, because that's what it says to do. So it says to line it. So I'm not lining it because it's silicone. It won't need it, but that's basically ready for it to go in. And now it says 70 grams of brown rice. Now the bowl is dry. So the one thing you need to do when you're doing this kind of stuff, I'm just going to unload all my ingredients because there's quite a bit of ingredients in here. So when you are going to do what we're going to do in this first part of the recipe, you need to make sure that your bowl is clean. Now, if your bowl has just recently been washed, make sure you pop it on a turbo. Your turbo would ensure that all the liquid goes to the side of the bowl and then you can wipe it out. Now, when you're wiping it out, always clockwise, not anti-clockwise, and then you're not going to cut your fingers with your, or if you've got your tea towel, just pop it round, going around clockwise. That just ensures that it's super dry. So we've got 70 grams of brown rice. So we're going to pop a brown rice in. Next, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds and 1 tablespoon of linseeds, those or flax meals, like people like to call it. Next, and then we're going to pop a lid on. Need a measuring cup, which seems to have done a runner. Here's my measuring cup. These things happen, don't they? When you're always doing things live, there we go, I can see it. Right. So we've got a measuring cup. Now, of course, the 7 doesn't have a measuring cup, so you don't need to pop that in with that. It would just be fine as is. You've got to go next, and we're going to do 1 minute on speed 9. So it's going to basically make this into flat. So it's just 1 minute. So now, I don't know if you can hear me talking, because that's loud. It's going quieter now as it's grinding it down finer and finer. Got 28 seconds to go. But it always shocks me at how loud the TM6 is now that we've got the 7, which is silent to speed 3. Really does make a big difference, especially when you're doing lots of recipes in it all the time. Now I'm just checking the ball. Sometimes when you're milling, depending on the there we go. Depending on the age of your blade, it can sometimes heat up a little bit because it's going at a first speed. Let's go next. It says transfer into a bowl and set aside. So let's just take the lid off. Oh, and my sterilizing is finished. And there we have our lovely homemade flour. All right, so I'm just going to grab one of those and we're going to pop that in there. That. Grab my little, now those that watch me regularly, you know I love my little thin spatulas. These are in the mix shop, so you can get yourself one of these. Now, if you do order anything from the mix shop, please make sure that you do put your consultant's name into the system before you check out. They don't get much of a commission from it, but they do like to know what you're buying so they can give you advice. You know, should it be something that they think, oh, you know what, I'll send you some recipes that use that, whatever it is that you bought. So, for instance, you brought a bread pan, well, they might send you some bread recipes too, you know, so they'll give you their expertise, and that's what we're here for. So we transferred that into a bowl. We'll go next. So I'll pop that to the side. Then we're going to pop in 140 grams. It says Pink Lady. These are just, I think they're Granny Smiths. I'm not really bothered about what type. And it's 170. It'll be right. We can tweak it. Now, you haven't got, with this one, I've got so used to the 7 ticking ingredients off. This one doesn't work that way. So we're going to go next. Speed 5 for 4 seconds. Just chopping up our apple. There we go. All right, so it says scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So we've got it's all gone down a little bit. So just scrape that down. These are great to use with your TM7 as well because they're nice and thin, so you don't get them on the blade, so they're not going to take chunks out of it. That's where going clockwise and not anti-clockwise helps. 200 grams of mixed fruit. So I've got in here, I've got goji berries, I've got cranberries, and I've got mixed raisins and sultanas. Then in there. Next. And then it says insert the measuring cup, so back in there. Next. And then we're going to go 3 seconds on speed 7. Woo! Again, very loud. I have totally forgot how loud the 6 goes. I never would have thought it would be an issue, but it's, yeah. So it's going to do it again, speed 7. Now, so we're going to scrape down the sides now. Now, if that was the 7, what it would have done is it would have actually put turbo on there. Yeah, probably turbo, I would say twice, because it actually has a separate, the turbo mode is much easier on the 7, because you can do multiple turbos at once, whereas on this one, you can only do one at once. Next, so now we're going to put in 90 grams of oats. And I've got to remember to tare it, although I have measured all this stuff, so it actually is right anyway. So we've got 90 grams of oats. Next, we've got 50 grams of puffed brown rice. That in. Next, and 20 grams of desiccated coconut, much to my family's disappointment because they don't like coconut, and 70 grams of raw sugar. Now, I'm not using raw sugar. I've got soft brown sugar because I actually like the flavour. And 2 tablespoons of pepitas or pumpkin seeds, as I call them. Put them in. Next, and 2 eggs, which we prepared earlier. This makes a lot, by the way. So this would definitely keep your family going for a little bit. And 50 grams of honey. Now, I didn't put the honey out because it's much easier just to wade in. Now, I'm going to have to give it a good squeeze. Try and keep the top away from it so it doesn't get the top in it. And I mix it around like this so it actually weighs it better. Right, that should do. Perfect. All right. Get that refilled at some point. All right, so honey, next. And then it says reserved, pop in your reserved rice mix. Oh my word, this is very high. I'm going to show you how high this is before I continue. Now, 50 grams of coconut oil, the last bit. I'm going to scrape that because I think probably get a bit more in there. Let's see. Yeah, we've got that in there. Next. Now it's going to mix it. So you can see how much is in there. Huge amount. All right, so pop the lid on. Next, and we're going to do 15 seconds on reverse, speed 3. Now, personally, I think that needs a bit longer, so I'll show you what I mean. So it has started to mix it through, but you can see we've still got a little bit of dried on the top. So I'm probably going to let it do it again, but I'm not going to do the whole time. So we'll go back one and we're going to, oh, next. So it says 15 seconds. I'll set it going, but I'll probably only do about maybe 5. No, I think I'm going to have to mix a bit of that manually. It's not quite getting it all together. That's just, looks good though. I'm just going to go down the bottom because it's not chopping it, so it's on the stir blade. That's better. All right. So I'm going to guess it's going to say scrape down the sides, insert the measuring cup. Oh, look, you wanted to do another 15 seconds. See, if I'd only read the instructions. Then it says transfer to the prepared tin. So let's transfer it into the prepared tin like this. Feel free to put in the chat what you've been cooking this week. I'd love to know. Always good to hear what other people are cooking. Because I can read the chat after the session. And if you do think of any questions, please do put them in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to hit the bell and it will notify you each time I upload a video. Also, you can comment on the videos that are on YouTube as well. So feel free, if you're not watching this live and you want to comment, you can feel free to comment on YouTube. That's totally fine. So it says transfer to the tin, lightly smooth the mixture down to make sure it's nice and even. The only thing with silicone is it does move with your when you push against it. So keeping it smooth is not always that easy. Right, there we go. Ooh, looks yummy. Let's put that on there, get that last bit in there. Right, next. Now it says bake for 15 to 20 minutes at 180 degrees. So I'm going to pop this straight in the oven. Right. Then what we'll do is we'll pop a timer. So if you're on your TM6, your timer's from the top. So pull it down and go timer. And we're going to go 15 minutes. and play. There we go. All right, so that's going to be doing that. Now then, so what are we on to next? Let's do the grab and go. All right, so we're going to move this down. Now, if you've got your lid for your varoma, you could place this onto your lid and then it would stop your bench from getting all wet. I haven't today, so I'm just going to move this and pop it down up towards the front of here. That'll be where. So they're ready to go. I'm just going to empty this. Oops. I'm just going to give it a swirl with cold water because cool it down a bit. All right, I'm going to get rid of our TM6 bowl. That'll be getting cleaned later. That. All right, so now we're on to our next recipe. So while we've got the timer going on here, it should just be going from the top still. Yes, it is. Perfect. And we'll go next. So it says allowed to cool in the tin for 20 minutes. Transfer into a wire rack to cool completely before slicing, and then cut into 20 equal sized portions. Then serve or transfer into a sealable container to store. And I'm probably going to freeze some of those because I don't think I'll eat them all in this instance, but they'll be good to have on hand. Because even in the freezer, you can grab it out. By the time you're eating it 20 minutes, half an hour later, it's ready. Okay, so let's go into my week. So in your TM7, it's a little bit different. So in your TM7, you've got home screen, and I've already got my week up here. So I'm going to go into today and I'm going to go into grab and go, which is our grab and go breakfast. Okay, and I'm going to hit start. This one is a lot more streamlined, a lot more modern. So it says set aside sterilized jars. So obviously we've already done that bit. Place into here milk of choice. So we've got, now I've got to remember which one this is. That's this one, isn't it? Right, so we're going to go, so it's 300 grams of milk. So I've got lactose-free milk going in there. So after me, I need a dirty potware. And it's ticking it off for me because I got it right. Yay! All right, then we've got 150 grams of water. Put that in. And it should tick that off too. Oh, it's thinking about it because the water is moving inside the bowl. It struggles a little bit. Then we've got 6 eggs. So this actually has a lot of eggs in it, and it's going to cook them. So it's going to be good. So we'll just pop 6 eggs in. And we'll tick them off. And then it says monk fruit sweetener. So this actually can be done sugar-free. I'm not going to do it sugar-free tonight. So I'm actually doing it with some icing sugar that I've already prepared. So that's 30 grams. So I went a bit reduced. I didn't want to go too high with my sugar. Now, the next one says vanilla extract. And I'm just going to tick it off and go next. Because what I've actually got is, and I've just realised that I've put the wrong sugar in there, but that's all right. I'll use that one for the other recipe. I'm going to put in some coffee instead. So what you can do with this is you can make this flavored. So you can flavor it with cacao powder, or you can flavor it with coffee. Now, if you go into so we'll go back to the recipe. So if I come out of it and we go to tips, so straight to the tips, it tells you in here that you can do different things. So if you want chocolate, replace the vanilla extract with 1 tablespoon of cacao. If you want to do coffee, replace the vanilla extract with 3 shots of espresso, or 1 tablespoon of instant coffee powder dissolved in 60 mils of water, which is actually what I've done here. So I think it's where I've got my mixed up with my ingredients, but that's all right. We've got lots of similar ingredients tonight. So this is our coffee for this one. So I'm going to pop the coffee in. And so I'm making a coffee up and go instead of what we had. So I'm going to go back to our step 3 of 5. And now what it's going to do is going to cook that for 11 minutes at 70 degrees. Need a cap on. If you've got a TM7 and your cap keeps popping off, when you pop it on, just twist it and it grips so it will actually stay on. And we'll press play. And so for 11 minutes, that's going speed 3 at 70 degrees. So it's going to cook those eggs, but not make them like scrambled eggs. It's just going to cook them so they're safe to eat, should they have not been. I mean, raw eggs technically can be eaten depending on the person, but in this instance we're going to cook them, so that's good. So we're going to leave that cooking in there, and then we're going to come to this one, and I get my clean bowl, Pop the plain bowl in. And on here, we're going to go back to my week. And let's see what I've put in for this one. All right, so we've got our Frappuccino. So Frappe coffee. All right, so we're going to go start cooking. So it's got 90 grams of caster sugar. So this is where I actually went less with my sugar, and I've got icing sugar as opposed to caster sugar, just because that's what I had on hand. Now, that icing sugar was originally raw sugar that I've actually ground down. 10 seconds, speed 10, and you get your icing sugar. So we'll just tick that off. And then it's got 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. So that's where I've got my coffee. Next. And then insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid. I need my mixing bowl lid first, don't I? Let's put the lid in, lid on. Put the measuring cup in. And then we're going to just go next. And we're going to turn it around to speed 9. So what it's actually doing now, it's actually grinding that sugar down, but clearly I've already ground it down to icing sugar. So I don't actually think that step is needed. So I'm gonna stop it because there really is no need to do that. So it says scrape down the sides. I can taste the sugar and the coffee in the air. That actually looks really cool. So I've now got, I suppose, coffee icing sugar. I'll show you what I've got in a minute. Right. Oh, there we go. So it almost looks like chocolate. I'm just gonna give it a mix around. And there must have been, so this is proof of the pudding. So this must have had a very, very small amount of damp in there. And there's a couple of darker spots where the water has picked up the coffee. Interesting. And I thought it was dry. Actually, it was on the lid. That was the giveaway. It was on the lid. Right, so we want 600 grams of ice cubes. So we've got a thermoserver, which has got our ice cubes in. All right, so we've, nice and cold. All right, and we're going to pop in 600 grams. So let's see. So, you know what? We might need more than I thought. And it's so cold, isn't it, that the ice is stuck to it. Yes, we need a lot more. Sorry, get some more. Let's see how we go. Oh, nail it. There we go. Finally. Right. Okay. Next, the advantage to you guys at home is when you're doing this, you don't have to do it at this angle. I'm sure it's much easier. All right, 300 mils of milk. So again, I'm using lactose-free, full cream milk. And this is A2, I think, actually, from memory. These are cool as well. I know they took away, they've got nothing to do with Thermomix, but I do love them. All right, so next. And then we're going to pop our lid on. Now, unfortunately, because I'm doing this in the 6, it's going to be very noisy. You won't hear it because Zoom is really good and it blocks it out. But this will do my ears in for sure. So I'm going to speed 9. This is straight down the sides. I'm sure it's suddenly got humid in here because I'm like, oh, wow. So I'm going to show you. It's actually like literally, it's almost like a frappe now, actually. There we go. Now, I think to make it a bit extra decadent, this, I'll probably put some ice cream in it just because, you know, that's just me. Next, so it's gonna whip it again. 15 seconds on speed 6. All right. Next. So now it says serve immediately. So that is where we have our frappe. And let's have a little, I've got a spoon here, so let's have a little taste. It is really good. So I think if you added into that some ice cream, I think that would make it like exceptional. You can obviously put cream on the top. You can, I'm gonna actually save this, so I'm gonna pop this in here. Actually, I might. It's a bit of a funny time of day to have a frappe, but oh, and there we have our frappe. I'm just going to give it a stir, and then I'm going to grab my my jam funnel. Jam funnels are fantastic. If you don't have one of these, great to get hold of. They have them in a lot of kitchen shops. They used to sell them in the mix shop, but they don't anymore. So I'm just going to put some of this out for me. It's probably enough. And then I'll put the rest in here. And then what I'll do is this can stay in the fridge then. And in the morning, I'll just pop it back in the Thermomix, probably with some ice cream, and just whip it up. And that can be my frappe, but in the morning, ready to go. How cool's that? Nice and easy. So I'm going to pop that in the fridge. Just pop it in there for now. And pop my lid on and see if this works. Mm. Oh, it's very cold. If I have too much of that, I'm going to get brain freeze. And we've all had brain freeze, right? So I'm just going to move this out of the way. So obviously we've got our other ingredients are in the oven, which will be another, how long have we got on the timer? Let's have a look. 2 minutes left. So if you haven't got one of these lovely thermoservers yet, I can highly recommend that you reach out to your consultant. They would love to come and do a demonstration for you. It's literally you and two friends. If you don't want to have people around at your place, you can always do it online. You know, virtual demo always works. The 7 is still doing so 2 minutes. And then what have we got left in this one? So we're going to blend it. And then we just, once it's cooled, we're going to, so it says once cooled, serve immediately or transfer into the jars. So once we've done the blend, so this has got 2 minutes left as well. So once we've done the blend, then we'll be able to put it straight in our jars because the jars have been sterilized, so they will be fine. I'm just going to grab a cloth because this bench is a little bit yucky. And I am going to, we'll talk about pre-clean, I think, because I was talking to a customer the other day and they were talking about the Thermomix pre-clean and how the Thermomix pre-clean does not clean your machine. And I said, well, it is called pre-clean for that reason. It's not supposed to, you know, it's not going to be pristine afterwards, depending on what you've cooked, obviously. But it does get the majority of the gunk or ingredients off the side of it. So for instance, when I finish this class, I will do a pre-clean on both machines. There's 3 bowls, so I'll do 2 in the 6, I'll do 1 in the 7, and we will pre-clean merrily away for a little time till we get them nice and clean. So let's grab this out. That'll be there. So still quite soft. I think that will harden as it goes. So I think we'll just leave that in its container to cool down now that it's cooked. Silicone obviously gets very hot, so I'm not going to do too much with it, but that does look really good. I will have to let you know how it is once I test it. Actually, I can stay there because I'm not going to touch it. This has obviously got a little bit to go. We've got another 35 seconds on this one. Oh, there we go. The timer's going off. I did set a timer on the oven as well, so we got both timers just to be sure. So that was just to show you where the timer is on this. Now, if you want to know where the timer is on your 7, just pull down from the top. You've got your cooking center. So your cooking center is where it tells you what the current recipe is. You can also have a timer set. You could get your pre-clean from here. You can also get to your scales from here as well. So say I wanted to, I mean, it's hot at the minute, but if I wanted to weigh something, I could go to the scales and I could weigh something while it's cooking. Oh, there we go. So we'll go next. So I'm just going to have a little look. So that just looks like a coffee to me. I'll show you what it looks like. So it just looks like like dirty water, really. Pop the lid on, and we're just going to blend it now. 10 seconds, speed 7. She's super quiet. Like when this one was going, you couldn't even hear yourself. All right. Next. And now this is where it says, obviously, once cooled, serve immediately. So I probably won't leave it in here to cool, but what I will do, because we've got the ice in here, if I take the ice out, this is super cold. Right, so we'll pop that on there. And if I open that up and tip that in here, it's going to help that to cool faster. So it makes quite a bit. That'll be going on a pre-clean. And so I can leave that to sit for a bit while it cools. And then I will then transfer it into those jars using a funnel, because obviously they're like trying to get one of these into that is much easier with a funnel. So that's that. Anything else? What else is there tonight? I think we've kind of covered everything there. So you've got your cooked meal. We've actually only gone over time by 5 minutes, which is actually pretty good because we did start late. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, I'll be stopping the recording. Like I said, if you're watching this back on YouTube, this is a recording of a class that was live on Thursday evening. I upload them to YouTube after we've done the live class. If you want to join the next live class, there is a link below in the YouTube channel. And like I said, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you watched it. That would be great. I look forward to seeing you next time I do a class next week. All right.